There is a growing fervency, and there's also growing secularization within Latin America, not unlike what we see in other parts of the world. Although I would say in Latin America, in general, again, we're collapsing a lot of countries and cultures and regions together as well as languages, but the rise of religiosity is actually quite high. It's actually still very, very strong. And the church itself, institutionally, still a very strong presence there. But what you are seeing, which the data brings out very nicely, and it's very important to look at that, is a growing pluralization of religion, which began really at the time of independence for most of these countries in Latin America. Most of them began in the early 19th century. So at that point, at that time, you began to see more other religious groups begin to come into Latin America. And for the last, I would say, the last 100 years, you've had a very strong growth in Pentecostalism. Some of the dynamics of what's going on at an institutional and communal level, and also doctrinally as well, the things that are going on in Latin America can be an example to teach, I think, the faith community. We have to remember 40% of the Catholics in the world are in Latin America. And even though the proportional numbers are shrinking, they've shrunk a little bit, still in absolute terms, it's an enormous number of Catholics. And within those people that are very practicing Catholic, you have a degree of fervency and vitality in parts of Latin America that are unseen and unheard of in most of Europe and many parts of the United States. We've all seen the decline of church attendance here in the Northeast quite rapidly. And in many ways, the Catholic culture here in the Northeast is shrinking, it's atrophying, unfortunately. But in many parts of Latin America and other parts of the world, as well as Africa and parts of Asia, the Catholic culture and Catholic presence is still very vigorous and robust and quite dynamic and growing.